All right.
All right.
Well, thank you for coming today.
Sure, thanks for having me.
All right, so to start off, could you tell me a little bit about your background? What was high school like for you?
What was high school like for me? I went to a very small high school. My graduating class was about 90 people.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was a very small school in a little small rural town, but it was a fun experience. It was a very good mix of all types of backgrounds of people, and yeah, I guess it's kind of whenever I started coming out of my shell, started discovering literature a lot. That's when I discovered the beat writers and Jack Kerouac, and I think that really kind of shaped me to take a bit of a different route. So it's also a bit of a skater and stuff, so I skated a lot in high school. So,
Cool. So did you grow up in Athens?
I didn't. I grew up in South Florida, in a little town called Clewiston, and it was right down at the bottom of the eye of Florida, Lake Okeechobee, down in the Everglades. And yeah, it was a small little town, about 5,000 people, but it was nice. Yeah.
All right. Well, so what do you love about Athens? What are some things that is great about living here?
Well, the reason I came to Athens is because even though I wasn't a little small town, I knew about Athens. I listened to Automatic for the People, REM, and I got into the Elephant Six bands, and I kind of created this mythology of what Athens was to me, and it was this magical place. And I think it was maybe a year after I graduated from high school, my freshman year of college, I took a road trip up here, up to Georgia, and stopped in Athens. And I went to the 40 Walk Club. I think it was like sometime in December, school was out, and nobody was in town, and it was freezing cold, and the band wasn't even that good. But it was just this amazing experience. I was in the 40 Walk Club, and I just loved it, and the arts and the music and the people. I really fell in love with it, and so when I moved here, it was all exactly what I dreamed it would be. So, and that's why I've stayed and made it my home. I really love the people, the arts, the music, and the history of the town. It's really nice, and you have that small town feel, but it's a pretty good sized town too.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's great. Yeah.
So what sparked your decision to run for mayor?
Well, over the last 3 years or so, I've really gotten more and more involved and amped up how much I'm doing as a community organizer and an activist. And when I started doing that, I started realizing really how our local government was working. I started getting to know a lot of our local leaders a lot better, and some of the ways I felt like our local government was falling short, especially when dealing with the poverty that was here in our area and the income inequality. And when I saw that they really weren't getting done what needed to be done in those issues, and a lot more when it came to smart growth, when it came to government transparency, and I felt like nobody was stepping up and dealing with those issues. And when it looked like nobody else was going to be doing it here, running for mayor, I decided, you know what, I'm going to do this. This is the time and the place, I guess. So here I am.
Great. Well, I guess you talked a little bit about some things that you hope to change. Could you just elaborate on that?
Sure. The biggest thing we want to be tackling is the poverty rate. We have a 38% poverty rate here, which is just incredible. It's just, we have to be dealing with this. It's one of the highest in the nation. And the fact that it's just this kind of thing that we've been sweeping under the rug over the last few years, not really actually going at. And everything comes out of that. If we want to talk about our crime rates, if we want to talk about our graduation rates, all these things can be traced back to our poverty numbers. Same thing with our economy. We can't have a strong economy if we have over a third of our population in poverty. So I feel like that's something we have to be dealing with. And we can be doing that in a number of ways. We can make sure that we have quality childcare available to everybody, especially those under the poverty line, so that they can get to educational opportunities, so they can get to new job opportunities. And the same thing when it comes to our public transit system. We can make sure that we have a public transit system that allows us people to physically get to those places. And it needs to be affordable, it needs to be reliable, and it needs to go more often and more places than it does right now. And those are a couple of the easy ways that we could be going at it. They're proven tactics to fighting poverty. And that's something we can be doing too. And there's other ways I want to go into, like I said, government transparency, accessibility. I want to make sure that everybody has access and really understands what's going on in our government. We're not operating behind closed doors. That's something else that's like really close to me. So.
Great. So will you talk to us a little bit about your stance on education? What do you think needs to change?
Well, education is really one of the proven ways that you can break through that generational poverty, kind of like I was talking about. So like I said, everything ties back to the poverty rate. And if we make sure that we have people getting education, especially early education opportunities and quality childcare, that can really cut down on the generational poverty that gets passed along. Because we've had poverty going on here for just decades, something that's been a lasting issue. And if we make sure that we can actually make sure these people are educated, from the time they're like basically infants all the way up to the time that they're graduating high school and then beyond. We'll make sure they have opportunities going to technical schools and of course the University of Georgia we have here, We've been making closer and closer ties with them with our public school system. I think we need to be spreading that along even more. But really the thing I want to focus on where I see the biggest lack is in the quality child care and early education area.
Well, great. I guess another thing I wanted to ask about is public safety in Athens, like the safety issue, and that kind of does tie into crime and poverty. But can you talk to us a little bit about that?
Sure. Yeah, public safety is one of those big pieces that does. It covers crime, but also covers just the safety of our citizens in general and our residents in general, including in the streets and stuff. One of the things that I'm really pushing for is the Complete Streets program. It's a policy we have put in place in Athens, Clarke County to make sure all of our streets are safe for not only motorists but also for pedestrians and cyclists also. The problem is that we haven't put any teeth into that policy. Therefore, there is absolutely no way for it to be enforced right now. So we have this policy that is a great policy, and it's not being, we're doing nothing with it. It hasn't been implemented once even. So one of the things I want to do is make sure that we put a system into place that is being implemented. Every time we're repaving a street, every time we're making a new street, it needs to be in place. And we could be doing that starting now over on Prince Avenue. They want to do a safety study over there to make sure our streets are safe and kind of redo how we could have that whole street set up so it is safe for pedestrians, so it's safe for cyclists. And because we know we have schools in the area, we have parents who walk their children to school, and we're supposed to be pursuing this safe school zones, I believe is what it's called, so we can make sure that students can walk or cycle to schools too. And like I said, right now we're just not pursuing it. It's there, but we're not pursuing it. We're not implementing it, and I think we should be.
Great. What about how do you think that we can improve our local economy?
The local economy, right now we're doing one of what I think is three things we need to be doing. The one thing we are doing is that we are pursuing businesses from outside of our county, outside of the state, that come in, such as Caterpillar and others, they come in and bring jobs here. And that is one of the pieces we need to make sure we're doing, make sure that we have a place where businesses want to come. But I think we do. We have a destination city. We have a fantastic workforce here because of the university. I think businesses do want to come here, and I think we are definitely looked at as being, a very pro-business here. But two things that we're not doing enough of that we can be is one of them is pursuing and the tech startup area, a lot of venture funding kind of businesses. We have this great little thing called For Athens that's downtown. It's an incubator, but it's a private incubator to bring in startup businesses, come in tech-wise. But right now, we're not doing enough on the local government level to make sure that's going even further. We could be putting money into For Athens and actually putting a local government spend into it, so we have public funding go into there also. Because it's proven that for every one tech job that you make, you actually end up creating 4 jobs total, including connected jobs. So that's one other thing that we've been doing. The third part I want us to see doing is that we're actually helping people start cooperatives and worker empower programs. This is something that people under the poverty line could be doing. They could team together, make it their own cooperative business, and start that up. I'd like to see our economic development center actually making it where they can be offering the certification for cooperatives. It's something we could easily be doing. Right now, to get a cooperative license, you have to go to Atlanta or you have to go to Charlotte. I want us to have that locally here, and so we're actually fostering those here. Because that's another thing we could be using to bring people out of poverty.
Right. Another thing we wanted to touch on was how do you think we can make Athens more environmentally friendly, more environmentally, sustainable?
One of the big things that I've been pushing and my opponents against is implementing a single-use plastic bag fee. So what it is when you go to the grocery store and you get that bag, there will be an extra 3 cents if you want to use the bag. You have the option of not getting the bag, no cost at all, but then we have that 3-cent fee though if you want to. So that gives an incentive not to get the bag. But if you do get the bag, 1 cent goes to the store, which might cost them to start this program. So it covers that cost. The other 2 cents would go to the local government, and that would cover us actually cleaning up these bags that are already out there, taking them out of the rivers, taking them out of all of our woods and forests, and actually cleaning those up. So by doing that, we give an incentive not to use the bag, and we also clean up the bags that are already there. And it's something that's been proven to work in DC. And it worked actually so much faster than they thought it would. And I think it's something that we've also had a Bag the Bag group in University of Georgia. They've been pushing for this for a while now. And I think it's a no-brainer, really. It's not going to hurt anybody economically, and it's going to start cleaning up our environment here. So would that be something that would be implemented into
some of the bigger stores in Athens or like more local businesses?
It would be implemented in all stores. It would. And the funny thing is, a lot of people, when we first bring it up, people think like, oh, that's going to start costing the stores money, or it's going to start, it's going to be passed on to the consumer. The funny thing is that those bags actually cost about 2 cents each per business when they use them. So you're actually taking away costs from the businesses.
Right.
So you're actually making it so they can offer their products cheaper because that's less overhead on them.
That's really
And you can simply bring your own bag if you need a bag.
Right.
Or we could also have it where you can still get paper bags. That's a possibility we could go into also. So really, it's just simply the only thing that to me it's a win-win. You know, we clean up the environment and we also start getting towards an incentive. We're going to be moving towards this anyways. I can't imagine that in 50 years we're still going to be using these single-use plastic bags. They're just hideous. They're like all over our roadways. We should be cleaning these up now. We should be taking the first step here in the state of Georgia to be doing this policy.
Great. I guess this is something that's kind of been in the media lately. People have been talking about. What's your stance on possession of small amounts of marijuana?
I like to see decriminalization of, or at least deprioritization of any marijuana possession that's less than an ounce. Right now, it's something that simply drives people into prisons for a nonviolent crime that stunts our workforce, that hurts families, that takes mothers and fathers away from their children, and it really is a kind of mark that can just be cast upon somebody for their whole life. That can really hurt them just because they had a joint and they got caught one time. Right. There's also a lot of racial overtones with this too, because a person of color actually has a 4 times greater risk of getting caught and arrested for marijuana possession than a Caucasian does. So there's some racial overtones there too that are not really equal. And like I said, it's being proven, it's being moved across the whole country as being safer and being more accepted now. I think people are starting to realize that the effects of marijuana are very similar to alcohol. We have alcohol as illegal, and it should simply be regulated in the same manner, in my opinion. Now, of course, we have the problem of having to deal with federal and state regulations on that, state laws on that already. But there's cities like Chicago that have done it in the face of those laws. They've gone ahead and passed an ordinance, and they just take that step forward. So we could be doing that. We could be working with our state and federal officials to try to to be, like I said, be the driving force behind change here in the South. And I'd like to see Athens be that change.
Wow, thank you. I guess to sum it up, why do you think you're the best candidate for mayorship in this election?
Well, I think I understand Athens. I think I come from a background that most Athenians come from. I've worked all sorts of jobs. I worked everything. I work retail right now. I've worked in an agricultural business. I've worked in the mental health field. I've been a college student that had to work 3 jobs to make themselves through college. I've had to live paycheck to paycheck. I've been in these different areas. I think I really understand the struggles and the things that people face here in Athens. So I can take those experiences into it. I'm not a politician. I'm not a bureaucrat. I don't have that kind of experience. Right. But I think that's the kind of experience that's actually been leading us down the wrong path. I think we need to have a person with experience of just being a person, being an Athenian. And I think I have that. And I think I'm very sincere with it. And I'm making sure that whenever I go about this, I'm working with the people. I don't want to be working behind closed doors making decisions for the people. I'm going to be working with the people to find the solutions that we need. And we've shown that in our campaign, going door to door, creating our platform with people in the community. And that's how I would be mayor. I would be doing my job with the people instead of for the people. So.
Well, thank you so much. Jenny, do you have any other questions?
That's great. Actually, I was just going to ask, you said you guys have been going door to door. What other kind of campaigning stuff have you done?
We've done a lot of fun things, I think. We've done the campaign door-to-door stuff, but we've also done a lot of things like this at public transit's a big piece for us. So we've done, when we went to qualify, we got on the bus, rode the bus with supporters, getting on the buses as we went downtown and then walked to the qualifying at the Board of Elections. And it was really this great experience. We had people chanting on the bus. It was a really great experience. So we're going to be doing more of that. We're going to be doing a whistle-stop bus tour coming up, a couple of them. So we're going to be taking instead of like how they used to do with the trains and getting off at the city and stopping and doing a rally, we're going to do the buses, take a bus to a stop, have a rally at the stop, get back on, go around town doing that. So we're trying to be really creative with it. We're not a campaign that's built on money. We're not going to be raising the kind of money that our opponent's going to. But I think we have creativity on our side. We definitely have the manpower and the people power with volunteers just coming out of the woodworks helping us. And I think we have the passion for it. The people working on my campaign, they're not getting paid. They just want to see a better Athens. They want to see an Athens for everyone, and they're really, really working for that. And I think it's showing in our campaign. I think people are getting really excited because it's really hard to get excited about a candidate just like buying billboards and spending lots of money on radio ads. That's hard to get excited about. But it is easy to get excited about a person who has a platform that really speaks to the people, that's for the people, and you're going door to door having conversations with these people, and that gets people excited.
Porter?
So my question was, I know you worked with Occupy Athens pretty tightly, right?
I did, yeah,
What was
definitely.
your position again? What did you do for that?
With Occupy Athens?
Yeah.
I mean, we didn't really have positions. It's kind of this funny thing. We were a leaderless movement, and that partially goes into this. Obviously, I'm going to be a leader here for Athens as mayor, but like I said, I want to be working with the other people so that this is not some kind of unilateral thing that I'm just putting across. Occupy was a brilliant experience for me. It really woke me up, and I wouldn't be here right now if it wasn't for it. It really spoke to me about how one person can really make a change in their community, in their state, even their country and world. Occupy Athens got me off my couch, just watching the Daily Show, being all cynical,
Right.
and it got me into, my state representative's office, got me to my U.S. representative's office. I mean, I went to D.C. and just went into the office and started having meetings with Paul Brown. It showed me that we could just do that, and most people don't feel that empowered, and most people don't realize it, and it really empowered me. And I want this campaign and my mayorship to empower the rest of my community.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming here.
Okay, can I say a couple other little things on? We talked about the safety issue. One other thing I wanted to bring up. One of the things we want to be doing also is a sexual assault task force.
Yeah, I read about that.
And yeah, it's something that we see. It's a big problem, especially here when we have a city and a county that has such a alcohol, is so prevalent in our downtown area, and with of course with the university having a young populace here. It's really kind of thing that can be a big issue, and it has been a big issue. We have places like Project Safe and the Cottage who work towards these things, but we could be doing more. We met with those groups and they said yes, the sexual assault task force would be great. So what we want to do is pull in people from Project Safe, from the Cottage, from the university, get bar owners, and get people from the downtown authority, get them all in a room together and try to figure out what tactics can we be using to make sure that we're lowering the numbers of sexual assaults here and actually start preventing it. And everybody's been responding really well to that, and it's something we can be doing very, very cheap, and that can be very effective though. So,
Awesome. Is there anything else you want to say?
Anything else I should say, Chris?
I think you pretty much covered it.
Yeah? Okay. I think so, yeah.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you, yeah, thanks for having me. This is great.